Hello, everybody. Oh, Cal Banyan here on calbanyan.com with another free hypnosis training episode for you. And you never know what we're going to come up with. We might be talking about hypnosis technique. We might be talking about ways to build your business. It might be ways to improve upon yourself with self-hypnosis. That's what's cool. Or sometimes we talk about stuff that's not directly related to hypnosis. Like I've got a little news article I'm going to bring up too here in a minute. So, I mean, it's hypnosis and it's not hypnosis. Let me tell you about Erika Flint. Well, I'm just so excited. I don't know what to do first. Let me talk about the topic today. Helping clients succeed by experiencing, you're going to be surprised, self-compassion and self-love. Breaking through that blockage, that wall that causes them to not value themselves. And you know what? People who don't value themselves or don't love themselves are just not going to do well in any kind of self-help or professional help environment. Okay, good. Erika, let me tell you about Erika. Erika, I'm so happy to have Erika as a graduate, as a colleague and a friend. So there was something about her that just stood out, and I knew that this lady was going places, and I wanted to have her on our podcast. Now, before she was a hypnosis professional, what she was a software engineer and professional problem solver. You know, a real computer type person. And I don't know why, but she decided to take this class, not my class, another class in getting certified in hypnosis. And it like lit a spark inside of her that says, I want to now take who I am, this problem-solving, computing kind of person, into working with the greatest computer that we know of, and that's the human mind, the human brain. And she decided to go full-time into the business of hypnotism. And then she said, but I need something more than what I've got. She went and purchased the 5-Path 2.0 video certification course, and it clicked for her. She was then able to have what she needed to go full-time. She also went through the Week of Power, so she got to be see what a live course goes through, have that one-on-one interaction in the class. So with that, being a 5-pather, being my co-host, she is just rocketing up in the profession. She is also now a trainer of the Banyan hypnosis systems, the 10-day course, the 7-day course, and she's even a speaker. She's spoken at the convention. You know, relatively early in her career, other hypnotists are coming to her for advice. How you doing, Erika?
I'm doing great, Cal. Thanks for having me here today. It's really great to be here. Let me tell everybody a little bit about you. So Cal Banyan is the hypnosis celebrity because of his fame in the profession, and not just because of all of these wonderful hypnosis training videos like this one here today. He has received nearly every award in the profession, which is remarkable, I think, and his books have made him the authority on the subject of hypnosis, hypnotherapy. But the thing that I really love about Cal Banyan is the fact that he is the authority on hypnosis that actually works, the hypnosis that you're going to want to use in your office, the hypnosis that you're going to want to use with your clients so they'll tell all their friends, the hypnosis that you're going to want to use in your office so that people keep coming back. He's an author, he's a speaker, and he's a trainer of some of the best in the profession. He's had a profound impact on me in my profession because I got some previous training and I got really interested in hypnosis, but I didn't really feel exactly confident in being able to hypnotize people and being able to do this work. I didn't have a plan on how things would unfold in the office. And then I learned about Cal's 5-Path program. I took the online DVD and I was off and ready to go. And ever since, you know, I met Cal, I think at the NGH convention a few years ago, and I knew, it's another thing that I really love about him, he is the real deal, all right? He does his work with heart and compassion, and he cares about the profession. He's been giving back for almost 19 years. And so I'm just honored to be part of this program here today.
Wow. Thank you very much. I'm humbled by all those accolades. I really, really do care. And the passion comes through. It comes through on the podcast. It comes through in class. When I speak at the convention or any other place. You know, I am so fortunate. There's not many people in the world that go to work every day believing this is what I was born to do. And I've received that gift, and that's why I can proceed with such passion and confidence and gather a team around me. I've had other professors go, Cal, how do you get so much done? Well, I don't. We do. You know, from my wife, who's the general manager, to hypnotherapists at our center, support staff, our IT staff, and then people who just want to be part of it. Like, you know, Celeste in the beginning, she's still part of it, though, even though she's not on the podcast. Brenda and Erika and Kelly's coming up. You know, wow. Nobody does anything great on his or her own. It's a matter of connecting with the right people who can join in on a vision. And I know I have a vision about where hypnosis should be going as a profession, and there's other people. I'm so fortunate that they're willing to buy in on that vision. All right. So what's up, Erika?
All right. So, you know, this topic came up in a recent call I had. I think it was with a Banyan online supervised training call. We call them a Bolsum call. It's continued education, some of the best out there. I think you can find it on Cal's website if you'd like. So this topic came up that, you know, so it's not my idea. I want to give some credit there to some of the other people here. How important it is to have self-compassion, help our clients achieve this self-compassion and self-love. And I see it in the office all the time. Somebody comes in and they're down on themselves, right? So they're, you know, you can identify this person who might be a good candidate for needing to experience more love and more self-compassion because they might be experiencing an overload of negative self-talk. They might be using language that is kind of more down on themselves. They might even have a type of a posture that is just kind of, you know, a little depressed, let's say. And, you know, I think there's probably a variety of reasons why somebody might get into that state. But I wanted to bring this up and have a podcast on it because I think it's important to understand that unless you help that client start to love themselves, it's going to be challenging to make other big changes in their life. What do you think about that, Cal?
I think a lot about that. I think of a lot of different things. And, you know, one of the things that is if you have a person that does not love and value and care for themselves, or even despises themselves or hates themselves, unless you take care of that, you're going to have a non-compliant, non-motivated client. So some things I do right away is I'm going to get people started on 7-path self-hypnosis, because 7-path self-hypnosis is going to empty that cup of self-loathing that they've been carrying around with them. And also what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working on the one thing that's causing them the majority of their problem. And if they're this person who has this self-loathing attitude, then that's going to come up, and I'm going to nip that in the bud. We're going to age regress it. We're going to be doing forgiveness work, and they're just going to be going, there's going to be a lot of tears flowing. What do you think of that, Erika?
Oh, I think that's great. I think it's really important, you know, emptying that cup of self-loathing. I love how you put that, and it made me realize that a lot of the clients that I've had that experience this, it's self-loathing. Okay, so this person has a lot of love to give, and so this might be. So let me just give you an example of a common person who experiences this. It could be a woman, usually a mother sometimes, who has loved their kids and given so much to everybody else in their life. There's nothing left for themselves, and so they devalue themselves, basically. Now, this is just an example of the type of person who might be doing this, but it's not that they are just a hateful person. They're just, you know, they're giving love to everybody in their life, so there's a lot of love there. They just don't have it for themselves. So I think it's really important to understand the difference there. It's not a non-loving person at all. They don't have it for themselves yet. And the age regression, is that what you were talking about, Cal? Part of the work that's being done there that you you would do with this person?
Well, I'm going to do age regression. I'm going to do forgiveness of others. I'm going to do forgiveness of self. And what's really, really going to be important here, as just in general, is age regression and forgiveness of self. But the forgiveness of others it has to be done also.
Right. Right. So one of the things that I wrote down, okay, so how can you help this person? Well, we have some very powerful insight techniques and hypnosis that we can use to help this type of situation specifically. One of the techniques that I absolutely love is giving somebody, it's through age regression, we give somebody the perspective to see themselves from another position. And this happens when we do, and I'm going to hopefully set this up really quickly, when in age regression, we do the informed child technique where we are having our client basically have a conversation with their younger selves or experience life as their younger self. And we ask them a very important question. Is that child lovable? Now, there's a lot of techniques and nuances that need to go on here in the age regression, but you get to the point where your client will say eventually, yes, that child is lovable. And then that's where it can start to grow. You can plant that seed of love right there. That's, that 3-year-old, that 2-year-old, that 4-year-old is lovable. And this client starts to see themselves as they would have been if, at that age. And that perspective really helps quite a bit. What do you think about that, Cal?
Well, yeah, and that's, in the age regression, we're going to go back and we're going to find the event that caused them to perceive themselves as unlovable. But we need to go before that, just as Erika is saying, so that we can get in contact with that lovable part of themselves. And then what we can do is we can give that lovable part of themselves, or that's not a part of themselves, it's lovable. We've got this regressed aspect of the adult, and once we get in touch with that, the age at which they were lovable, then we can give that child whatever information that he or she needs so that he or she can go through that event that caused the adult to not feel lovable towards themselves. We give them the information and go through that event without thinking that way and feeling that way. And so, we're going to kind of bulletproof them so they can go through that event uncontaminated by that event. They can go through it without being negatively affected by it. And that is so, so powerful. Once we've done that, we're going to have the change that happened in the child transferred to the adult, and it just rocks their world. Isn't that right, Erika?
Absolutely. And for anybody out who's not doing age regression and doesn't quite understand how powerful it can be, or the nuances, all of that sort of thing, have you ever looked at your client, or even looked, it can be your sister, it could be somebody in your life, and you thought or said to yourself, I wish you could see yourself the way that I see you, because I see you as a, loving, thoughtful, kind, caring, blah, 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 all of those things that you might say. Well, one of the things about age regression is it gives your clients the perspective to almost step outside of themselves and get that perspective. Look at yourself the way that others can see you. And then that love can start to grow, and they can feel that inside. And I can't tell you how many of my clients, when we do this informed child technique where they're looking at this younger aspect of themselves, where the tears just start to flow immediately right there, and the compassion has started. And it's just such a beautiful thing, and it's so amazing to be part of that process. And I just absolutely love age regression in general, but especially when you're able, basically you are giving your client the ability to be in love with themselves again, and it's just remarkable.
As you're saying that, I'm thinking, I want to you're absolutely right. It's, unless you're, and this is where the client cries and the hypnotherapist cries and everybody's moved, But let me give you some insider tips here. When you're doing the age regression, this event is called the ISE, initial sensitizing event. And they fall in some general categories when it comes to this self-loathing or inability to love themselves. One is they could go through an event where someone gives them that impression says, I don't love you, I wish you were never born. The angry mother that says something like that. Bam! Now the child goes, I'm not lovable, even my mother doesn't love me. Certainly I can't love me, and that thing happens. And then we can go before the ISC, give him or her the information they need so they can get through it without picking up that belief. The other thing that happens is that they can become really angry with themselves. And one of the things I teach in class is, one of my Banyanisms, anger is a wall. And once that wall goes up, for example, if you become angry with someone else, especially as a child, sufficiently angry, it might be at one event or over a series of events, this wall goes up. And it's a defensive wall. And from that perspective, it makes sense. But the bad part is, if that person loves you, you can't feel the love anymore. If that person has information and insight that could give you wisdom, like they say, you know what, I'm sorry about that, I love you, there was nothing wrong with you. Once that wall is up, then the protective part of the mind goes, yeah, right, yeah, right, yeah, right, and just rejects all that stuff. So, the other thing that we need to do is, in the age regression, when we go before that ISC, we need to give them information so that they can reject that information, that misinformation, that what might have made them angry at themselves. So here's the deal. What happens is we can have a wall come up that keeps us from loving other people or feeling the love towards other people when we're angry at them. But when we're angry at ourselves, it's weird, but it's like we can have this internal wall that won't accept any love from ourselves or from other people. Give love, but to accept it, the protective part of the mind goes, yeah, right, yeah, right. They don't really mean that. They just want something. Or, if you say, you know what, I am a good person. Yeah, right, yeah, right. You'd like to believe that, but it isn't true. And so when we have the wall up, the best way to do that is through forgiveness work. They need to forgive themselves so that we can begin to tear down that wall and eventually remove it. And there's just nothing like it. It's a kind of forgiveness that is so deep and so profound that it's even a healing kind of forgiveness. And I've seen a side effect of this kind of work manifest itself in many kind of emotional, mental, spiritual, and even physical healings, like skin problems going away, headaches going away, and stuff like that. What do you make of that, Erika?
No, I think that's beautiful, Cal. Thank you for summarizing that so beautifully with the wall and how our the protective part of us doesn't do us any favors many times by protecting us from things like that, like the compliments from people and love from other people. So once we get rid of it, we're able to accept that. Once this occurs, right? Once your client, once that seed is planted so that your client starts loving themselves again and they forgive themselves, then often the other work that they came in for, I'm not gonna say it's easy, because it's not always easy. It depends on what your client is coming in for, but it can be so much easier, right? If they're coming in to eat healthier, it's so much easier to treat yourself and eat healthier, right? To treat yourself with love and respect and eat healthier when you love and respect yourself. It's so much easier to never put that cigarette in your mouth again when you love and respect yourself. So the changes for which they came in for are so much easier once you have kind of overcome this hurdle, if this was an issue for your client.
Exactly. Good. Hey, can I throw in my news article?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done with this part, so go ahead.
I just wanted to get this in. So this morning when I was getting ready, I was watching the news in the morning, and there's a lot of news about this two people who are trying to break some record or be the first people to use a completely solar-powered aircraft to circumnavigate the world, go around the world. And so that's interesting. But then on Yahoo News, there is this article, and it says, yoga, hypnosis, prop up solar-powered plane pilots. So there's like this mini hypnosis news in the middle of this more technical news. And so they've been studying yoga and self-hypnosis so that, because one of the challenges of this long flight is just falling asleep and being tired, not being sharp enough. And so they've been taking self-hypnosis lessons and practicing just going into self-hypnosis for like brief periods of time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then emerging from hypnosis feeling refreshed like they've had 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours worth of sleep. So that's really cool. What do you think of that, Erika?
I think is really cool too, because it demonstrates how hypnosis is being used for a variety of things, real world things, right? And I bet that there's a lot of people out there who would love to be able to, for example, on their lunch break, right? You have a lot of really great work done in the morning and then you go have lunch and half the people want to fall asleep after lunch, right? Well, what would happen if you did some self-hypnosis at lunch instead and came back energized and ready to go and became twice as productive at work, right? So I'm a huge believer in that whole concept to begin with, but in general, I love this story because it's just showing how hypnosis is being used around the world.
Awesome, cool. Hey, now I got my show and tell time. I finally get my little corner of, hey, Cal Banyan plays with dolls. And one of the fun things I'm doing now in our class to talk about age regression. And as we're going back in time, we're taking our client back in time, this is what you call a Russian nesting doll. And we say there's a feeling inside you don't like, has everything to do with why you came here today or whatever the issue is. And we're gonna follow that feeling back to an earlier time you felt that way. And we go back and we find the little one inside. And there we are with that younger aspect of themselves. And we're going to find out what was happening, what it made them think, what it made them feel, and how old they are. And really important, is this the first time that they felt that way? And if it's not the first time they felt that way, then we're going to have them follow that feeling back even farther to an earlier time they felt that way. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? So inside the little one's another little one. So here's another little doll, and we can continue going back that way until we find the first time. We go back, find out what's happening, what are you thinking, what are you feeling, how old are you, and is that feeling familiar or new? We go back, we find another little one inside. And we're going to just keep doing this until we get to the very first time. And sometimes that first time, they're really, really young. I find that most ISEs happen before the age of 5, and many, I'm never surprised when actually that ISE happens sometime when they're very, very little. Just a little curtain climbing, crumb snatching lawn monster. And quite often 3 years old, 2 years old, 1 year old, 9 months old, this kind of thing. And what we're gonna do then is we're gonna fix that problem where it started. We're gonna go before that event, give him or her the information they need so that they can get through that event without being negatively affected by it. Then, what can we do? We can send that information to the one before that, and then we give that information to the older one before that, and we make that change then happen in the other one, in that other subsequent sensitizing event, until we've transferred that change all the way to our grown-up, our client. And then what's going to happen is we also like to do some age progression work where we take this changed person who has the new way of thinking, new way of feeling, and take them into his or her probable future where they can experience, pre-vivify the success in life, like maybe they're golfing better or maybe they're eating better or whatever it is. Bing, 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 2 or 3 events in the future, and then we put that information, those experiences into the mind of my client so that he or she can now have that mental expectation of success. And Erika, I wish you could see me sitting here with my cute little Russian nesting dolls. What do you think of that idea?
I wish I could too, Cal. I'm excited to see when this episode is posted to see you playing with those dolls. I was imagining little Harley Davidsons next to him because I was thinking, your dolls, right? What kind of dolls would Cal play with? Some
these
little
are
bikes,
cute little
right?
red and wooden Russian nesting dolls. So you'll see that, and it really is. Then I'll put them up on a shelf in class with all the different sized ones, and I can see people as I'm talking about age regression looking at those dolls, and it just makes so much sense because you do in your brain have a model like this. Now it's not so clean cut. It's neural connections built upon the previous neural connections, built upon the previous neural connections, built upon the little tiniest brain neural connections that make up your beliefs and your habits and causes emotional responses and that kind of thing. All right, I've managed to make it go overtime once again. I'm so proud of myself. Wrap it up, Erika.
All right, Cal, thank you. Thank you for that. And I think that that's going to be a great learning tool, and I can understand how it will really help it sink in to your students, even at a deeper level. And so thanks everyone for joining us here today. And I am Erika Flint. You can find me at CascadeHypnosisCenter.com. You can also find me at our Hypnospace, where I lead the marketing group, and I hope to see you there. I hope you join our Hypnospace. I hope you join the marketing group where we talk about how to bring in new hypnosis clients, customers, and students. All right, thanks for joining me here today. Again, I'm Erika Flint.
Thank you, Erika. And for all you guys out there in the world of the internet and beyond, I will see you in class. Come and get it. We've got our next class on July 6th through the 17th, the weekend off in the middle of that, and then we have our week of power. These are basically the same courses. The 10-day course is a hypnosis certification course. You don't have to have any experience in hypnosis at all. We take you from point A to point Z during the 100 plus hours of that training. And then the week of power, you must already be certified as a hypnotist or hypnotherapist or consulting hypnotist to take the course. It's the same information, but we spend a lot less time on the basics. We just make sure everybody's up to speed on the basics, bam, and then we go into the advanced work of 5-path and 7-path self-hypnosis, and then you can be a Hypno 1%er among the best of the best, and I'm just so honored to have been a part of this. Cal Banyan, signing off.
This recording is the property of Cal Banyan and the Banyan Hypnosis Center for Training and Services, Incorporated. All rights reserved, for private use only, may not be duplicated without permission. For contact information, go to www.hypnosiscenter.com.